All right, baby. Cubs have clinched home field advantage for that first round with a win over our friends from St. Louis. And I say friends lightly. When things looked like the Cubs couldn't hit, bring on the Cardinals. Now the bats are hot. Some good news, some bad news. We're going to get into that live show right now. And look, regular season, for all intents and purposes, is over. I know there's a game tomorrow, but we're ready. We know what's going on now. Cubs and Padres, Tuesday, starting the playoffs for the Cubs, and we're going to talk that. Kade Horton, now we know what's wrong with him and why he's out of action. So a little live show to celebrate together, and I know a lot of you are still singing the song, as I love to do myself. So let's get this show started, and some of you will be watching on the replay. However you do it, I love it. What a great win for the Cubs today. Go Cubs. All right. What do you say? Let's go. Love it when I see the Cubs beat the Cardinals for something that's meaningful. And it came down to the second to last game of the season. And the boys took care of business today. Back-to-back wins over those hapless Redbirds. And they do it today 7-3. And in typical Cardinals non-classy fashion, they walk intentionally Michael Busch because they didn't want to give up the cycle. And I'll tell you what, in a way, it almost feels a little bit better than the cycle, guys. It feels better just because that is such a you-know-what move. It's like, are you serious? Hey, but guess what? It is what it is. And I would love nothing better, even though it means absolutely nothing tomorrow, to sweep these birds right back to St. Louis. So that's where we are right now. That's the good news. The bad news is that our friend Jesse Rogers was right. And I never doubted him, but it was like I was hearing conflicting reports. And Kade Horton's going to be out. He's got a fractured rib cage, so we'll talk about that as well. I don't think it's going to affect him winning the Rookie of the Year. But you know what? It's a team game. He said it before, too. Forget about the individual stuff. We need him for the postseason. And hopefully it's not something that's going to linger. But, boy, he was an absolute dog on the mound this year and did a tremendous job for this team that will now host the Padres in that wild card round. Becky, great to see you. Fly that W for me. Progressively independent. Cubs win. Thank you. Steve S., go Cubs. Kathy, let's fly the dub. I'm with you. Just love celebrating these good times with you guys. Love it. Let's go. I love the song. I sing it every time I can. I mean, if I'm at a game and we win, I sing that song from the beginning to the end. I love the song. I love Steve Goodman. I love the fact that Jimmy Buffett hung with Steve Goodman and was the guy that came back after we won the World Series to play concerts at Wrigley. I love that. I love the tradition of that and John Prine and what it means. And boom, I'm wearing my W shirt for that reason as well. And Faith, I'm happy for this team too. It has not been an easy run. It has not been an easy run, but it is what it is. And it is a rematch of 84. And for Rhino, I would love for us to beat these Padres because they're a good team. And talking to Rhino and all those guys, it's always something that they feel like they left out there. I know it's not the same team. It was years ago, but it would be nice to send them packing. And I'll tell you what, the Brewers do not want to see us. They don't. They can sit there in Milwaukee and pretend like they want us, but they don't. They would much rather have the Padres, much rather have the Padres than have the Cubs, because the Cubs, we are absolutely dangerous. And I don't know why, but when Kyle Tucker's in the lineup, this is a much different team. And maybe that's why. And I think, what was it, like middle of April, where we look at each other here on the channel and we're like, hey, guess what? Totally get why they wanted this guy. It's just the way he works at bats, the fact that he's just one of the best patient, knows the strike zone hitters. And the Cubs all of a sudden scoring some runs. So Cubs and Padres, Tuesday, September 30th at Wrigley Field. And then again on October 1st, and if necessary, they'll play the third game. We are going to give away tickets. I don't think it's going to be for the first game. But sign up right now. Use our QR code, Mick Nation, and we're going to pick somebody out of that. You got to be part of that. And obviously on our comment section here, but it's all free. It's just a fun way to get together and interact. And I appreciate everyone at AveD for believing in us and wanting us to kind of be part of what they're doing. And we love having them too. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. With the win today, as you guys know, Cubs, they clinch the wild card home field advantage. That means they're the number 4 seed. If they weren't in the same division as Milwaukee, they could have won the division. Take my hat off to the Brewers. I never thought that Milwaukee would be that good. I just didn't. And I still want to play them. I mean, it almost could be a blessing because home field advantage is ours when we play there. There's probably 50 Cubs fans for every one Brewers fan. Even in Milwaukee, they know that. We're like a boat. We're like an anaconda. We just like circle them. And even like I've met my buddy Boyd who watches every day. He's from Milwaukee. And he's the biggest Packers fan in the world. And he's the biggest Cubs fan in the world. Go figure, right? So, and I think there's a lot more people that are like that. So that's the good news. You talk about Cubs baseball, and I want to get into, what this one means. Let's talk about some notable playoff series at Wrigley Field. 84 played the Padres there and won the games there. Just lost the games in San Diego. The Cubs clinched their first playoff spot since 1945. I remember just Harry. I remember everything that went with that, right? It was in the Pirates and then played the Padres. 2003. Cubs won against the Braves in the NLDS, which was awesome. That was at Wrigley Field. 2015. Cubs stunned the Brewers. Do you remember that? I can still see Schwarber hitting that ball onto the scoreboard and the Cardinals realizing, like, we tangled with the wrong Cubs. This isn't the Cubs that have been around playing. This is a new breed of Cubs. 2016, obviously beat the Dodgers and then, lost a couple games and then won that last game and then went to Cleveland and finished with 2 great wins. 2018. Had the wild card tiebreaker game. The Cubs played the Brewers at Wrigley, elimination game. And now 2025, they'll play the Padres. I mean, there's a bunch of significant playoff games. But I love the fact that the Cubs are going to be at Wrigley Field. Michael Busch could be one of those guys that we need to be talking more about. I mean, the guy is just all of a sudden now starting to ramp it up into the next level. And I'm just so happy that the Cardinals showed their true colors, red, and walking him instead of letting him go for the cycle. I mean, well, okay, you know what? That just, the watching Willie get mad after Palencia got the last out in that game earlier this season, and the Cardinals, other guys on the team were like, Willie, you need to calm down and, get off the field. Y'all lost. And then, like, today was even better. Just like that, nothing worse than seeing a competitor that doesn't want to compete. Hey, throw him the first. We don't want to face this guy anymore. Anyway, I'm fired up about this. Now let's switch gears and let's talk about Kade Horton. And we've been on this one from the beginning. All we got were pretty good reports, but they were doing MRIs. They talked to different physicians. We thought that, hey, the guy's hurt because he was coughing. That's what Craig Counsell said. He was coughing and maybe his back hurt, but it was hurting because he has a right rib fracture. And he has had a history of injuries in his career. He's been so good this season, though, man. He has been so healthy. He's been so important to this team. And so you just don't know what that means. Injured list with a non-displaced rib fracture. And now Jordan Wicks has taken his spot on the roster. I mean, that's, obviously that's not what you want, right? They say he's eligible to return in 12 days, but that would not include him being available for the wild card. It would be against the Brewers if they got to the NLDS, right? And so his throwing session, I guess, didn't go well, according to John Heyman. He's another one of the best in the business. And they placed him on the IL. So maybe they knew about it. You just don't know. But maybe they knew about it and they were just going to see if he could do it. And he's like, look, it hurts too bad. Or maybe they didn't know. But at the end of the day, and you guys, I know this is where I want to ask you guys, where do we go from here? Where do we go? Like Nicholas, I love Cardinals are out of the playoff. They're down by 4. And they still didn't give Bush a chance to make history. That would have been a great bonding experience to clear the benches for Bush. How about Bush being the first guy named Bush to go to Bush and hit a home run? And he's done it a few times, right? What are we doing here? Let's talk pitching, guys. Let's talk pitching. Shota's been not so good lately. Okay says keep Shota around from that pitching mound. I know that it's been tough watching him give up the home runs, but sometimes guys do that, and then they get into the postseason and then they get locked in, and that's what I'm hoping. You got Jameson Taillon's been really good, and we're paying him a ton of money, and you know what? The guy's like confident, and I like that. Chris says without Horton, I don't think we have enough pitching. I don't know. I mean, look, the good thing, guys, and Jake, love that guy right there. I'm going to leave you up for a minute, Jake. The good thing about the postseason when it comes to this is that sometimes you can get by. I know it's like, well, are you going to get by without your best guy? It's happened before, right? Even though it's not optimal, it has happened. And it just hasn't happened for us, but it's happened for other teams. You look around and you're like, when did Jordan Montgomery become like an ace? The Rangers used him and rode him right to the World Series, right? It's not going to be Kade Horton right now. So where do we go? Game 1, Matthew Boyd, right? And he's got like this incredible postseason history, right? This amazing postseason, I mean, he hasn't, it's not like he's got a bunch of World Series, but when he's been in the postseason, he's been good. And then I'm thinking Jameson Taillon game 2, and then Shota game 3. That's kind of where what I feel like right now. Colin Ray game 4. And then you hope that maybe you get Horton back. But, who knows? Every team, though, that's in the postseason is dealing with this right now. So just remember that. Not, you're playing 162 games. It's like all the way from the Dodgers down, you're dealing with issues. It's who's able to deal with those issues better. That's what's going to be what gets that team over the finish line. And look, you just win. I think that when you get into these postseason games, you do everything you can to win the first game. And then you go back in the clubhouse and you revamp everything and you do the same thing the next day. It's so different than baseball regular season, because baseball regular season, you're setting up for a marathon. Now it becomes a sprint. And so you put everybody out there and basically, see what you got. right? I'll tell you what, at least Colin Ray, like that last outing for him gives you a little bit of, you know, a little bit of confidence. Vintage Baseball Corner says playoff baseball is littered with aces getting shelled and pitchers you've never heard of stepping up. Would prefer to have Horton, but it's not a death sentence. No. And the reason it's not is because you still got to go out there and play the game. One of these guys could just have, Matthew Boyd pitches like he did in the first half of the season, and you're feeling pretty good. So I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm not waving the blue L flag here. I'm still feeling confident in this team. Score some runs early and just get 27 outs, and then do the same thing the next day, and do the same thing the next day. Progressively independent, I don't disagree with this either. Jed should have got better pitching at the trade deadline. The Michael Soroka deal, awful. And I feel bad for Jed in a way, because the guy pitched, like 2 innings and was hurt. I wonder how much of that came from Atlanta or not. The Braves going, man, finally you got or what was it, the Nationals? We're like, hey, finally we got rid of this guy. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me either way, but you're right. Like, the Diamondbacks were begging to give away a starting pitcher, and we didn't want it. And I talked to some of their people, and I know that they were there. They were looking at Jackson Wiggins and asking questions about Jefferson Rojas, and they were paying close attention to the Cubs. I was there. This isn't speculation. This is a matter of fact. And the deal didn't get done. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes or whatever. I know that the Cubs said, and I don't disagree with this either, that they have to manage this roster for, not this year, but down the road. And I get that. But they didn't go out and help themselves pitching wise a whole lot at the deadline. So progressively independent. I'm not sitting there arguing. Now Brian says this in caps. That means he's saying it loud. Broken rib won't heal in 15 days. So he's out the entire postseason. Yeah. And look, that's it, man. Bats have to stay alive. And you're right. And look, this is what teams do. One guy goes down and another guy steps up. And so that's what the Cubs are going to have to do. Plain and simple. And they're going to have to score runs. Could miracle happen? I mean, who would have thought Kyle Schwarber would have came back in 2016? I mean, he could hardly even walk, remember? But he did enough. Wouldn't you like to have him on this team right now? I would. But, I mean, he made a way to get it done, right? Like, he just did. So maybe Horton could do that. I don't know. Pitching's different. Horton's got this history of injuries that's followed him around. And I love him. I do. But it is frustrating because, and I'm sure he feels the same way, every time he gets it going, something happens. And it's been like that his entire career. But when he's on, you can't beat him. I mean, he just is. The slider, the curveball, the changeup, the fastball, he pitches with that football mentality. It hurts not having him in there. Nicholas is like, I'm going to throw you back up there again. This is why they shouldn't have re-signed Hoyer until the end of the year. Maybe the price tag for Alcantara wouldn't have been too high. Well, but the thing about Alcantara with the Marlins is Nicholas, is he was so bad, though. It was like, but maybe he would have been better now. I don't know. Nobody got him. As a matter of fact, nobody really got starting pitching. I mean, there was a couple guys, Jackson Merrill, Merrill Hodge. No, it was Merrill Kelly. God, all these Merrills. He went to the Rangers. I thought that'd be the guy we'd get. And honestly, I thought, look, I didn't want to trade Owen Casey, and you guys know that. And I didn't want to trade Moises Ballesteros, and you're seeing it now. And I wish both of those guys were on this postseason roster. But if I was like, look, I'll take Gallen and Kelly, and let's see what happens. So Joshua Tree. Oh, the Joshua Tube. I see the tree on there. How's Justin Steele doing? Who knows? He's doing good. He's recovering, but that surgery, he's not going to be able to help us this year. Thomas is saying that a fractured rib is not broken. Big difference when it comes to healing time. I hope so, man. The other thing too is that they have technology now where they're able to heal you a lot faster than they used to. And so, that's kind of where I'm looking at this thing too, is going, okay, well, it's a lot easier to, to get somebody healthy than it used to be. But, and look, and this was my logic too. I wouldn't have made a trade for a rental pitcher if it cost, Owen or Moises. I wish we would have played him earlier. Retro Extreme 79. I would have had. I think that the biggest criticism I have of this is that I just don't like the way they've managed the system. I mean, I'd bring up Jackson Wiggins and have him pitch out of the bullpen if he can help you. Look, you can always turn him into a starter next year, but you need the help. It didn't really make my case though when he was so bad last time out, and he's another guy like Kade Horton that has a history of injuries, but still, I mean, look, you're here to play the game. You're here to get to the postseason. And then when you get to the postseason, you got to go all in. You put all chips on the table and you go in. And it's a shame that Kade Horton's out right now because, I mean, the dude's been just amazing for the Cubs. So Cubs got home field advantage. I'm pretty fired up about that, just like you guys are as well. And again, we're going to give away playoff tickets this week, or before Tuesday. So we'll do it Monday. AveD. There's the QR code right there, and and you can be a part of that. We also got hats. We also got shirts. We got all kind of swag. It's on the way here. So we'll be doing that. Plus, you can win cash prizes there as well, and it's something that we're pretty fired up about it. We finally got. I'm going to answer a couple questions here too. If you got any questions, throw them up here. We finally got Pete Crow Armstrong's 30th home run, Seiya Suzuki's 30th home run. Michael Busch is just out of the 34 home runs now. He's out of his skull. He's hitting so well, and we got Kyle Tucker back. So those are the good things. And obviously, Kade Horton being out, it stinks. All right, what's the deal with Miguel Amaya? Will he be on the playoff roster? And how many years does he have left with the Cubs? I think he will be on the playoff roster. I think he's been in Iowa playing. They wanted him to get some at-bats. I know there's a little hesitancy to, you'd have to, what do you do with Reese? But Miguel Amaya is just a better all-around young player with a better back, historically than Reese. I think Reese has done a really good job, though, for the Cubs. I think the Cubs might trade him. I think in the offseason, Amaya would be someone that they'd be willing to trade. And if I was the Cubs, I'd work with Baltimore to make a deal for one of their catchers. And they've got two franchise guys, and that would be great to see that. So I don't know. That's my gut feeling. The Cubs would do that. Jake, I'm not going to post your comment, but I agree. Okay's like, yeah, look, All-Star Boyd start game 1. Yep, that's it. It's easy now. You mentioned Wiggins, so they can call him up. Yes, they can call him up if they want to. But who knows? I mean, would you? I mean, think about it. The bad part is, like, if they're going to call him up, they need to do it now so that they can pitch him tomorrow so he can get – you don't want his first experience to be in the playoffs. At least I wouldn't think so. I mean, that'd be my thing, though. Look, on the Miggy stuff, I've heard, like, it's kind of been talked about that they'd like to upgrade at catcher and get get a kind of a franchise guy. But, who knows? But look, Miggy could have a huge playoff and, but yeah, Steve, they're not going to call up Wiggins. I doubt it too, but I'm telling you, the guy could get outs. No doubt about it. He could be up there helping them right now. So anyway, look, I don't want to take your entire Saturday from you. And I know some of you guys are going to watch this on Sunday morning, and I appreciate you guys too. But what a great way to finish up the race to get that home field advantage for the first round. Taking care of the Cardinals at Wrigley Field. And the bad news is no Kade Horton. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll be covering this as well. Guys, thank you for being here. Make sure that if you're not a subscriber, that you do subscribe, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Love you guys in the comments section. Thank you for being a part of what we do here on a daily basis. Very special day. Anytime you clinch anything in baseball,